let me start by saying COVID-19 outbreak really helped Africa to have a light of like we didn't have any manufacturing plant in Africa. All the vaccines were coming from overseas.
We need to create more awareness and sensitization about vaccines, and also put the right information out there, because there's a lot of wrong information.
As Africans, we have a lot of resources here in Africa.
Yes.
Natural resources, agriculture, all those that we can use to create such manufacturing plants. Now, because there has already been a culture of if there is HIV, we get funding. Let's say, for example, let's talk of COVID-19.
Yes.
You see how bad the virus was.
Yeah.
So saying that I'll wait for the virus to trigger my immune system,
Yes.
we'd be dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
But now in line with those, because the COVID vaccines, there are some who think because they were rushed, they are unsafe. If it's condensed, does that mean you forgo some of the steps, or was the integrity still maintained? It's just it was under pressure. Welcome to the Med Squad podcast. So you got a new baby, and everyone comes and says, "Oh, so cute! Looks like the dad, looks like the mom." And then someone asks you, "Oh, are you going to get the vaccines?" And suddenly the conversation turns sour and there's an argument that breaks out and the baby starts crying. Well, I have panelists with me who are going to introduce themselves as we talk about this topic.
Hi everyone, my name is Mira Mamboi, a lab officer.
Hello, my name is Flavia Bagacha, and I'm a medical officer.
And I'm Yafesi Musoke, and hopefully we'll learn something together on this journey, because we're going to try and keep the conversation honest and fresh and separate the facts from fiction, because you have all heard these statements like, "Oh, vaccines cause infertility." Others are talking about microchips, to track us and track our movements, and "Oh, these vaccines cause autism" and things like that. So what are your reactions when you hear statements that are just put out there? How do you approach the fact from the fiction, knowing that it's also an emotive subject? You can start. Yes.
So I think claiming that vaccines cause fertility, it's a lot of, let's say, misinformation, because for a vaccine to go through approval, it goes through a lot of phases. Phase 1, phase 2, even phase 5. So, and let's say COVID vaccine, you were in a pandemic in 2020.
Yes.
So the reason why it was in a hurry, it's because a lot of people are dying.
Yes.
But a lot of vaccines have gone through years of research in animal trials, in people's trials, to find out if there is any side effects. And the side effects are already displayed in the vaccines. Yeah.
So people are aware of what to expect from a vaccine.
Yes.
Does it change? Yes.
But also, there are also a lot of anti-vaccine individuals who have their own motives. They try to spread propaganda about vaccines, and they post things out there, and people think these are facts. So it's good to verify through various sites like CDC, WHO. It's good to verify your information before you can take it out. Yes.
So when people talk about vaccines, because that's a very generic term, even people who may be against a certain type of vaccine probably got vaccinated themselves. Are there types of vaccines, or how many types, or are they categorized in different ways?
So maybe I can first describe what a vaccine is. So a vaccine is a biological substance that is designed to safely stimulate your immune system to recognize and fight against infection.
Yes.
So there are vaccines made from the live but weakened form of the microorganism, that is a bacteria or virus. Then there are some that are made from the dead organism. Then there are some that are made from, they get a fragment of this organism, either the protein from the surface of the organism, and they make them. Then there are also some that are made from the generic material, the messenger RNA.
Oh, mRNA.
Yeah, exactly. So what happens when these vaccines are introduced in these various forms, the body recognizes them as foreign and is able to make proteins against them. The proteins are called antibodies. So they fight against them. And the body is able to neutralize the effect of these organisms.
Yeah.
Yes. And then after that, the body creates what we call memory cells to remember what has happened for the future, like when the actual threat, like the actual disease, affects you.
Yeah.
So because you've been immunized, you'll not be affected by this disease, or you might just have a milder form of the disease.
Yeah.
So basically what we do with vaccination, we introduce a controlled threat of the microorganism into your body so that you can build defense against it.
So your body starts recognizing things. Now, memory cells. Generally for me, I might forget where I put my keys or my phone. But is there a maximum number of memory cells, or like, is there such a thing as vaccine overload?
No, I'll say no. You see, we're exposed to different germs.
Yeah.
I'll call them germs. And then they affect our bodies in form of antigens. So what the body is exposed to is worse than what
you put inside.
what the vaccine does.
Because the vaccine is
You can't
controlled.
Yes, and the amount of antigen introduced through the vaccine is not equal to what we're exposed to every day through the environment, through our skin.
To children licking windows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We cannot have vaccine.
So how then do we curb the misinformation that spreads rapidly? Because, a lie will be halfway around the world before the truth has time to even put on its shoes.
Yeah, I think what majority of people don't know is the processes that I said that go through the vaccine from the production up to the approval phase.
Yes.
So I think if the people had such information, now they will understand how the process that it goes through. Yeah.
So
It's also important to simplify medical information, make it clear for people to understand and know the importance of vaccines.
I mean, it's important to get some of the information. Like if you say mRNA, it also distinguishes it nicely. But how do you simplify? Do we start at school level, where now we try and break it down into analogies, or because people don't read? You can have pamphlets and leaflets and online information, they won't read it. So is there anything that you've seen that has worked?
The good thing is, school level, from primary, we know what vaccines are.
Yeah.
We knew what the 6 killer diseases were and the vaccines against them. So we start from school level as we go upwards.
Also, I think another thing, for example, the church I attend to at my parents' home, we usually have health forums where maybe a nurse is invited to the church and she talks about different health conditions. So I think because churches have a lot of people, that's where now they can start teaching people into simpler words in local languages, maybe also in local radio and TV stations. Yeah.
Now, when we come back on the Med Squad podcast, we'll be talking about the myths, yes, but also certain fears that could add to this whole misinformation thing. Stick around. We'll be back.
Hey there! Welcome to Zuri Health HQ, where Africa's finest medical minds meet modern care. I'm Yafesi, your host on the Med Squad.
Here, care is personal. It's not just diagnosis, it's direction. From a cough to managing chronic illness, we listen and we lead.
Every symptom has a story. We listen, explain, and act together.
Nutrition is not just about food. It's fuel, it's healing, it's prevention. We help you eat with purpose, for energy, for recovery, and for lifelong health.
We are not just lab coats, we are detectives, and your blood speaks when we translate.
Your mental health is not a luxury, it's your health, period. Whether it's trauma, depression, anxiety, or even wanting to speak to someone, we are here for you.
At Zuri Health, collaboration is our strongest prescription. We connect expertise across Africa to deliver care that is smart, affordable, and people first.
This is the Med Squad. Real conversations, real health, real people. From your inbox to your bedside, we're with you.
Welcome back to the Med Squad podcast. We're talking about vaccines in the context of Africa. Now, before we even get to the myths, we want to debunk some myths. You know, one other thing to do with misinformation is people are just fearing needles. Do all vaccines, well, not all are administered through injections, but what is the benefit of the injection compared to oral or any other form?
Unfortunately, most of them come in form of injection. Yes.
Why? Why injection? I mean, if it's getting into the body, I can sniff it or swallow it or something else. Or is there a reason?
More effective that way. And also, you find, just like medicine, there are some drugs you give through injection, and then there are some drugs you swallow because of different reasons. Because the drugs you give through injection and you can't swallow, sometimes when you swallow them, they're going to be destroyed by the enzymes. So that's why you should give them through the injection.
Okay. So you're bypassing security.
Exactly.
Security.
And also some drugs may not interact well with food. Yeah.
Oh, so you're avoiding also the what do you call it? The digestive system.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's debunk some myths. So they say, for the ones who say vaccines cause autism, is there a basis for that rumor or that myth, or is it even a myth?
So that came from a study that was done in 1998. It's called the Autism Study by a physician called Andrew Wakefield. He's a British doctor. So he linked autism, mumps and measles to vaccines. And then later it was the study was brought down because it's not true. And then several studies have been done after that about autism and vaccines, and there's no relationship between autism and the vaccines.
And yet people still stick to Andrew Wakefield's report.
You see, once you put information out there,
yes,
and you're not putting the truth, it sticks. And false information sticks more than the
other.
Yes,
and
the truth.
Okay. Now, when the ones who come and say vaccines can cause infertility, how do you debunk that using actual science or clinical information? Do they have a case? Do they have a case for fearing?
So with all this information, people have a basis of it. So also infertility came from the COVID-19 vaccine. They were linking a protein to the placenta, but still it is not true. Vaccines can't cause infertility.
So do vaccines affect like pregnant women? Can pregnant women take vaccines, or is there something that they also...
Pregnant women do take vaccine. They're vaccinated against certain diseases like tetanus. They get hepatitis B. So vaccines are safe in pregnant women. Some vaccines.
Yes. Now, there's this thing called, we were told about herd immunity or natural immunity. Is it safer than vaccine-induced immunity?
I would say, for example, let's talk of COVID-19.
Yes.
You see how bad the virus was.
Yeah.
So saying that I'll wait for the virus to trigger my immune system,
yes,
you'd be dead.
Wow.
Yeah. Because
but now in line with those, because the COVID vaccines, there are some who think because they were rushed, they are unsafe. Is it an issue of, is there like a fixed time? You're saying about the process, the back and forth, the feedback, getting to know even side effects. If it's condensed, does that mean you forgo some of the steps, or was the integrity still maintained? It's just it was under pressure.
So for a vaccine to be made, it goes through different phases. There's phase 1 up to phase 4. But for COVID, it was different because, like Miriam said, there was an urgency, and then there was also a lot of money put into the research.
Yeah.
So it didn't take the normal amount of time other vaccines take, because we needed it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But also, that said, it didn't skip the safety protocols.
It didn't skip the safety protocols, which is important to know, because sometimes what I was wondering is, you have many vaccines to develop. there's this, they're trying to do HIV vaccine, what. So all that research and all that. So is it that this one is in stage 1? Okay. Now we focus on this one, try to get this one to stage 1, then that one stage. But for COVID, when all the focus is that now we just do all the stages one after another.
We'll just say it was like the stages are overlapping.
Okay. So now someone else comes and says, vaccines are just a money-making scam by Big Pharma.
It's that is controversial.
She has something to say.
I don't really agree because even looking back at how the vaccines have benefited us, even from the time you were little, polio, many years ago, polio were really affecting a lot of people. But polio is up to, I think, we are ending the polio virus era. So vaccines, it's not like a benefit in the I don't think it's a benefit in the farmer. This one might be controversial because some people think so, but vaccines help to prevent infectious diseases, viruses, bacteria. Yes.
Okay. And things like smallpox was eliminated.
Yes.
Is there a recent measles outbreak that was in the US, or was that just vibes?
Measles. Okay.
Yeah, because anyway, that one could be something that people go into the comments and get viral. But when we do return, we're going to talk about the unique challenges and possibly solutions in Africa with regard to vaccines, right here on the Med Squad podcast. Welcome back to the Med Squad podcast. Have you been vaccinated? Hey, don't eat me. First, let's get the information. All right, I have Dr. Flavia and Dr. Miriam. Yes, we're going to put us in the right frame of mind. So, in your experience interacting with people, with patients, why is vaccine mistrust so common?
Let me start by saying COVID-19 outbreak really helped Africa to have a light of like we didn't have any manufacturing plant in Africa. All the vaccines were coming from overseas.
Okay.
So I think it's that lack of knowledge, like they are wondering why is it not in Africa? So they tend to fear because it's coming from somewhere very far.
Yeah.
And in case of anything, they don't have any control. Yeah.
Accountability.
But also side effects. Some vaccines have side effects, which are sometimes mild, like in children. You see, if someone takes their child for immunization and then the next day they have a fever, which they didn't have, and the neighbor sees it, maybe they might opt out because of that. But also with COVID-19, we saw a few people dying. Yeah. So that really brought a negative impact.
Yeah. So if vaccines are so good or so useful, helpful, why are they harder to access in some areas than others? Because that's where even that theory of Big Pharma comes in.
Yeah. So you find that when the vaccine is being transported, it must be maintained at a certain temperatures. So that means digital cooler boxes or even the old-fashioned cooler boxes or fridges. So if the vaccine is being transported to a remote area in Turkana, you see there'll be challenges in that.
Yeah.
UNICEF published a report that shows that 12 million children in 2022 were not vaccinated. And that could lead to the challenges of transporting the vaccines to those interior areas. And also those interior areas may lack trained professionals that also will educate the communities on the importance of vaccinating their children.
So there's the handling, there's the transportation, training,
infrastructure.
Infrastructure. Yes. And then now there's another aspect of that. You mentioned Turkana, but the other areas where cultural beliefs or religious beliefs come into play. So how do you respect, the beliefs in that area and yet protect health? Do no harm.
I think it's that aspect of providing culturally competent healthcare to those communities, where you train professionally that speak that same language, that understand the culture in that area, and they'll know where not to cross the boundaries. They know the respect that the people need, and also because they understand the culture, they'll know how to approach those people.
Yes. It's also important to involve the traditional leaders in those places, the religious leaders, because you find that these people hold authority, and then they'll be listened to better than just medical facts and ideas.
So let me give you a scenario. You walk into a place where you're coming to eat lunch, and you can see the cook mixing your food, mixing the ugali, and you can see where the meat has been thrown on and is grilling or whatever. For some reason, there's more trust when you go to eat the food than to go to a place where you have no clue where the food is coming from.
Exactly.
So if the vaccines were African made, would that build trust and change maybe perceptions and acceptance?
Yeah, I think so, because even let me ask you, if you see a cloth, high quality cloth, it has a tag made in Kenya, and there is another one, maybe, I don't want to sound bad, but made in another country, you are prone to picking the one made in Kenya. Yes, and you'll want to experience that. So I think it's that aspect of Africans can be a bit sensitive. And if we had such companies here in Africa, it will be better, I think. Yeah.
So where would these companies come from? Because, I mean, that kind of funding that's government level.
Yes.
So is there support, or do we have lines that we should not cross internationally?
It's possible because we have pharmaceutical companies here, but maybe because of politics and all that, we might not be able to progress as fast as our Western.
So we can't just cook. We can't just let us cook.
I think the problem with us Africans, we love getting funding a lot. We have a lot of resources here in Africa. Natural resources, agriculture, all those that we can use to create such manufacturing plants. Now, because there has already been a culture of, if there is HIV, we get funding. Vaccines, we get funding. If there is famine, we get funding.
If the stadium is down, we get funding.
Yes. So we don't go outside the box, because we have the brains to think we can do it also. We have research institutes. We can modify them to give us such.
Hey, we can go really controversial with the issue of how we crave funding, but let's focus. Let's focus on the vaccines. And in so doing, when we come back, we'll be talking about frequently asked questions that you may have or you may have heard right here on the Med Squad podcast. Welcome back to the Med Squad podcast. It's Yafesi, Flavia, and Miriam. Now, as we talk about vaccines and vaccine safety, the frequently asked questions include, of course, things like, do vaccines overload children's immune systems? Because they're so young, they're just starting out, discovering dust and other things. Does it overload? Do vaccines overload their immune system as children?
So, children are exposed to different germs in the environment. The dust, when they're crawling, they put stuff in their mouth. So these germs are seen as antigens in the body. So these antigens actually more than what the vaccines give them. The vaccines have less antigens, meaning that immune system is actually strong enough to accommodate the vaccine.
Okay.
Actually better than the...
Okay.
Yeah.
So the adults, of course, the parents tend to have fears based on either, like it's so much easier to get fear spreading if one instance of something going wrong happens. Like, there's something in Nigeria, there's a case.
Oh, yeah. So there was a clinical trial by Pfizer in 1996. It happened in Nigeria in a place called Kano. So there was an epidemic, meningitis epidemic. And then Pfizer had a new antibiotic. and they tried it on adults, but they didn't try it on children. So they saw this as an opportunity to try it on the children. So they brought their antibiotic. And so that was the control study and then the trial.
Yeah.
In that, some children were given the real medication for the meningitis and others were given the Pfizer antibiotic. So we ended up seeing 11 children dying from the Pfizer antibiotic. So after that, the mothers got mistrust in vaccination, the whole process altogether.
Whether
And
it's local or...
Yes, whatever it was. And they stopped taking their children for vaccination because they said they didn't know the children were actually receiving the trial medication. So in around 2000, 2002, there were new cases of polio in Nigeria because of that same misbelief. So it is important to really gain public trust as we try to demystify all this.
So now, can I vaccinate my child if they are already mildly ill? They have a little illness. Do I wait for them to be fine before I take them vaccination?
So with mild symptoms like fever, cough, flu, you can vaccinate. But then if they have symptoms like high-grade fever, they have seizures, they're dehydrated, or they're immunocompromised by maybe they're on anti-cancer drugs, you shouldn't take them for immunization. Because sometimes we might not know where the symptoms are coming from. Is it the side effects of the drug or is it the condition they had, the underlying condition that they had? So for mild symptoms, we immunize. For severe symptoms, no.
And then after vaccination, there's side effects. So are there some that I should genuinely be worried about if they're side effects? Because there might be a mild fever. There might be, are there some that I should really be like, hey, doctor, come, let me show you something.
So it depends. For children, they usually get fevers and we manage them with paracetamol symptomatically. Yes. So there are usually fevers, and then what you might get worried about is when there is, like we said, high-grade fevers, and then the child is crying continuously, persistently, and is not keeping quiet for like 3 hours. You should be worried. And then if they're having seizures you took them for immunization or they're having seizures.
We'll be right back after this break. It's going to answer the eternal question, what side effects I should really be worried about. Let's take a ride. Welcome back to the Med Squad podcast. Now, we were asking frequently asked questions because if they're frequently asked, we may as well also ask them here. So, the side effects, you were talking about a few side effects that I should genuinely worry about. You had mentioned high-grade fever, and crying, and
for children, for children.
Non-stop crying. And yes, what were the other ones?
Then I want to talk about the COVID-19, most especially vaccine, the most recent one. So for adults, you might have difficulty in breathing. You should be worried when you see difficulty in breathing. High-grade fever still in adults. Seizures, you should be worried. But then we should also know that vaccines are medical interventions. So like all interventions, there are risks.
Yes.
So for some people, they might get mild symptoms and they're short term. But realize that for other people, they'll get adverse effects.
Now, people like adults, since we are catching, like for instance, let's say I'm an adult and either my parents didn't take me for vaccination or it wasn't available. Can I catch up?
I'm still talking.
No, it's okay. Yeah, you can add to that.
So I was saying, some people get adverse effects for so many reasons. And for children, it might be different reasons. Like they might have underlying conditions. They might be immunocompromised, maybe by cancer, by cancer therapy, or they have an enzyme deficiency. So they end up getting adverse effects. And sometimes we see death. Rarely. It's a rare coincidence, but it happens.
Wow.
Yes.
So for the adults who want to catch up with vaccinations that were missed, is it possible or is it too late?
There's some diseases that are majorly in children. Now, like rotavirus. That's why it's vaccinated in children. And then there are also some vaccines, if they're given in adulthood, they won't be as effective, like the TB one, BCG, given in children, but in adults, it won't be as effective. But still, adults can get vaccines that are good for them. Now, like we see HPV vaccine, we're seeing the tetanus toxoid, like when you get an accident, you get a cut, you can go for the tetanus vaccine. And then we're seeing also hepatitis B vaccine given in adults. But also, like we talked about, even pregnant women, they get the tetanus toxoid, they're getting the hepatitis B virus vaccine.
Yellow fever when you're traveling.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah, the yellow fever. Yeah, that's right.
And also the HPV vaccine. Initially, it was for girls that are between 9 years to 14 years.
Oh.
Yeah, the reason why, because I know most people wonder why is that age gap, because human papillomavirus, HPV, is sexually transmitted.
Okay.
And you find that girls in that age, they've not yet been exposed to that virus. So you find a woman in her 40s, she has already been exposed probably. And if you vaccinate her using that specific one, it will not work. But I think they are manufacturing one, or I think it's already in the market that caters for the other age gaps.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. So now, in terms of vaccines, if someone says, you know what, no matter what you say, whether it's injections or just the thought of putting something foreign in my body, I do not want. So are natural remedies safer? Like a safer alternative to vaccines, or is there such a thing?
Natural remedies more of like they reduce the symptoms, and maybe for general well-being, that's why people use them. But again, they don't give us the immune mechanism the vaccines do.
Yeah. And also you find that for people whose immune system is compromised, if you tell that person use natural remedy, some microorganisms are they can make you go within days. So if already their immune system is weak and you're telling them to use natural remedies, there is no time for that. So you better prevent it even before it happens.
What do these natural remedies look like? Are they herbal, or drink something that has been crushed from leaves, or what do people use instead of vaccines?
I think the most common one, we can use the example of COVID-19. It was lemon, ginger, garlic. That's what people were using. But you find that those whose immune system were really low, you are the ones you are finding maybe in the ICU or dying. Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of practical advice or practical thoughts regarding vaccines, what would you give? Knowing that, of course, this topic still remains emotive, and there are people who dig their heels in, others who are trying to find information, but now where do you start? Where do you get the credible information? So what practical advice would you give regarding vaccines?
So we need to create more awareness and sensitization about vaccines, and also put the right information out there, because there's a lot of wrong information. So as scientists, we should be able to put the right information for people to utilize, and not based on the wrong information. And also people should be able to verify the facts from credible sources. When you see something online, go and read about it. You see, and then also we have more infectious diseases coming up. We're having cholera, we are having Ebola, we are having Mpox, and all these have vaccines. So to be protected better, people are encouraged to go and get vaccinated. And you see, vaccination is the most successful public health intervention that has protected against infectious diseases.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can we can find that from literature, life expectancy was really low in those pre-colonial, in the 1800s. Yes, because they didn't have such interventions, and they could die from a simple malaria outbreak. And actually, the malaria vaccine is an ongoing process. And if we get that one, it will really help us. And you see, this one now is tailored in the African setup.
The malaria vaccine is actually already there in Uganda. It has been added on the immunization guidelines.
Malaria vaccine in Uganda.
So children are being vaccinated against malaria.
Yes. Okay. So you've heard the news. You've heard the information. What do you do with it? Well, first of all, share it. And that means sharing this episode of the Med Squad podcast. Follow us also on our platforms. That's at the Med Squad. You've heard there's a malaria vaccine already available in Uganda. Don't all rush there. But if you do hear of other vaccines, African tailored, receive them with an open mind. And we'll see you next time to have some more candid conversations on the Med Squad podcast.